Rachel Zegler was positioned as Hollywood's golden child, the next generational icon who would carry legacy franchises into a brand new era. Instead, every new headline looks like another nail in the coffin of a career that went from meteoric to catastrophic in record time. And tonight we're laying out the receipts that prove it's not a rough patch, it's an implosion. The chain reaction started with Disney's live-action Snow White, a project executives expected to print money on nostalgia alone. For months the marketing machine promised magic, a lavish update, a beloved fairy tale heroine, and a fresh-faced star to charm the entire planet. What they got was a $250 million cautionary tale, and a lead actress whose press tour felt like a live grenade with the pin already pulled. In interview after interview, Rachel treated the source material like yesterday's garbage. She called the prince a stalker, dismissed the 1937 classic as weird, and joked that she deserved to be paid for every single hour the movie streams because wearing the dress for 18 hours a day was somehow oppression. Audiences who tuned in for Disney Wonder heard contempt, and the backlash hit social media like a tidal wave. Overnight, boycott Snow White trended, reaction channels dissected every sentence, and meme pages crowned her Snow Woke. Inside Burbank, damage control alarms blared. Sources say executives convened an emergency meeting to ask whether Zegler's ranting violated the studio's morality clauses. One insider leaked a brutal summary. She burned down a billion-dollar brand with her own words. Meanwhile, the box office reports rolled in. Domestic numbers cratered. China's opening weekend scraped under 1 million, and analysts projected a loss bigger than the budgets of multiple Pixar classics combined. Then came the disappearing act. Instead of owning the narrative, Rachel simply vanished. Paparazzi trackers spotted her boarding a flight to Dubai. Her socials went dark. Her team ghosted press requests. Rumors exploded. Was she dodging lawsuits? Was Disney demanding restitution? Nobody answered, and the vacuum filled with speculation. Stan accounts that once spammed heart emojis started asking where their fave had gone. Anti-fans began clocking the days since her last post like they were counting down to a court date. When an apology finally materialized, it read less like contrition and more like a hostage note, crafted by corporate lawyers. Polished, sterile, devoid of actual regret, it confirmed what critics feared. Rachel wasn't speaking to fans, she was protecting a contract. Comment sections shredded the statement, meme pages stamped it PR bot, and even sympathetic pundits admitted it landed with the emotional weight of a receipt. Behind the curtain, the fallout got uglier. Whisper Networks claim multiple studios wiped her name off shortlists, sponsorship talks froze, and managers received polite but firm emails about shifting creative direction. Suddenly, the wonderkind who'd leapt from High School Musicals to Spielberg's West Side Story looked radioactive. In Hollywood, the perception becomes reality at light speed, and the perception now was simple: Rachel equals risk, and risk equals lost revenue. And just when you thought the plot couldn't twist any harder, a second bomb dropped. Her West End debut in Evita, meant to be a triumphant reset, detonated on opening night. But hold that thought. We'll get to the walkouts, the refunds, and the memes in part. For now, understand this. Disney's Snow White wasn't a stumble. It was a public self-immolation that exposed how fast goodwill can evaporate when the star at the center seems to loathe the story she's selling. Remember that viral red carpet moment from the one where she smirked in full princess regalia and announced Snow White won't be dreaming about true love? That 30-second clip alone racked up tens of millions of views, spawned duets calling her Snow Woke, and even triggered a merch wave parodying her quote on coffee mugs reading "Not your prince, bruh." When a meme shop outperforms the official tie-in toys, you know a brand is in freefall. Yet through it all, the most telling moment was the silence inside the theater. Reports from preview screenings described families sitting stone-faced as the credits rolled. No children begging for plush dwarfs. No parents humming the soundtrack, just an awkward shuffle toward the exits and a collective shrug. That's not merely a flop, that's lost cultural capital, the kind Disney used to mint in its sleep. So here's the tally so far. A $250 million property hemorrhaging cash, a fanbase in open revolt, a studio exploring legal clawbacks, and an actress who parachuted out of the spotlight faster than you can say go woke, go broke. If that isn't career-ending gravity, what is? Ask yourself, can any star survive alienating lifelong Disney loyalists, torching a 100-year-old brand, and ghosting the fallout like a thriller villain on the run? By the end of this deep dive, the answer feels inevitable. Hit subscribe, smash that bell, and buckle up, because if Snow White was the spark, what happened in London poured gasoline on the blaze. And the smoke signals spell out one brutal verdict: her career is over, and this is the proof. So Disney's disaster was strike one. Strike two arrived on a glittering West End stage that should have been Rachel's redemption arc. except it turned into a live theater horror show no PR team could spin. London, June. The Palladium marquee glowed with promise. Evita, reimagined by avant-garde wonderkin Jamie Lloyd, starring none other than Rachel Zegler as Eva Perón. Tickets sold on nostalgia and star power, fans queued in sequins, humming Don't Cry for Me, Argentina, expecting spectacle, emotion and maybe a little Broadway sparkle. What they got instead was a minimalist fever dream. No set, no orchestra, just cold strip lights, a ghost white dress, and Rachel wandering a bare stage, like she'd lost both the plot and the audience. The first warning sign, silence during the iconic funeral prologue. No swelling strings, just an awkward hum from the HVAC as Rachel delivered lines to empty space. People shifted, programs rustled, coughs echoed like cannon fire. 10 minutes later, phones lit up with frantic texts. What is this? Followed by the soft clatter of seatbacks as early deserters slipped out. By intermission the exits looked like fire drills. Ushers whispered that refund forms were running out. Why the exodus? Because Lloyd's vision had traded grandeur for graduate school symbolism, and Rachel, already under a microscope, was left to fill that void. Her voice was technically fine, but every gesture screamed miscast. Eva Perón should radiate iron charisma. Rachel looked trapped, reciting history instead of inhabiting it. Critics called it a GCSE art project. Audience tweets labeled it Eva Perón. The meme machine roared. Split-screen edits of Madonna belting the movie version beside Rachel standing statue still went viral overnight under the hashtag #DenDitaExit. Backstage, chaos. Leaked WhatsApp messages, screenshotted and blasted across theater forums, hinted at screaming matches over pacing and emotional temperature. One crew member swore Rachel left the building in tears, skipping the champagne toast, while producers huddled over spreadsheets calculating break-even points if half the house demanded their money back. Word spread that premium weekend dates had slashed prices within 48 hours. Ticketmaster queues turned into tumbleweeds. But here's the kicker. Even Rachel's supporters couldn't defend it. Fan accounts posted cryptic "We respect artistic risks" captions code for ya. The West End crowd isn't TikTok. They crave craft. They won't clap for woke discourse if the story feels gutted. And nothing felt more gutted than watching a $200 seat deliver the vibe of an underfunded dress rehearsal. Critics piled on, all vision, no soul. A conceptual void. A Guardian piece wondered aloud whether Rachel had been set up to fail by an experiment nobody asked for. Meanwhile, US entertainment shows looped the walkout footage, framing it as international confirmation that the Snow White backlash wasn't a fluke, it was a pattern. Netflix producers quietly removed her from shortlists. Brand reps ghosted. In the fame economy, perception is currency, and Rachel's stock was now penny level. Let's talk numbers. Unverified but persistent leaks claim opening week refunds topped 500. Merch booths reported historic lows, and while management denied cancellation rumors, insiders hinted the run could close early pending sustained audience attrition. Translation: if empty seats keep multiplying, curtains fall fast. And still Rachel stayed silent. No Instagram carousel of opening night flowers. No heartfelt notes to the cast, just social media radio static. To fans it felt like abandonment. To industry watchers it looked like legal lockdown. Either way, the optics screamed, she's running from another dumpster fire. Remember, this was marketed as her comeback. PR teasers promised a bold new chapter, following the Disney snafu. Instead it reinforced every negative narrative, tone-deaf about legacy material, misaligned with core audiences, controversy mag. The theater fiasco didn't just dent her resume, it proved the Snow White backlash wasn't confined to Disney diehards. It crossed oceans, mediums and demographics. That's career-level collateral damage. And the memes kept mutating. One stitched Rachel's 18 hours in a dress rant over footage of the empty Palladium stalls. Another pasted her vacant stare onto stock footage of deserted gift shops. When even the merch walks out, each share deepened the public punchline: Rachel equals flop, flop equals click gold. Behind closed doors, agents scrambled. Some pitched a long hiatus, disappear, rebrand, resurface in an indie film with zero nostalgia baggage. Others floated reality TV, Dancing with the Stars style imagery, but word from casting directors was blunt. She's unbankable until the stench lifts. And stench takes seasons, not weeks. So here's where we stand after Strike 2. One streaming time dress tantrum, one 9-figure Disney crater, one mass exodus West End meltdown, and an online reputation shredded faster than a stage door program in a British drizzle. The evidence is overwhelming, momentum gone, audience trust vaporized, corporate bridges incinerated. But if you think this saga's reached peak freefall, buckle up. Part 3 will expose the backstage power plays, the rumored Disney legal letters, and the brutal question echoing through boardrooms. Is Rachel Zegler officially box office poison? Hit that subscribe button, slam the bell and stay tuned, because the final chapter might seal a fate nobody thought possible just 2 years ago. Strike 3 started quietly, in conference rooms lit by PowerPoint glow, where Disney lawyers pored over Rachel Zegler's contract line by line. Morality clause. Section 9b. One insider says covers public statements that materially harm the brand. Translation. If your star tanks a century-old princess IP, the mouse wants its money back. Rumor puts the number on the table at 8 figures. Advance bonuses, back-end points, promo stipends, every penny Disney can plausibly claw back. And executives aren't just angry, they're embarrassed. After Snow White underperformed by a projected $250 million, shareholders demanded a scapegoat. Zegler's interviews supplied Exhibit A. According to a leaked email thread, corporate communications floated 3 escalation tiers. Tier 1, private repayment deal plus NDA. Tier 2, public breach of contract filing if she refuses. Tier 3, blacklisting through Disney's partner studios. Because when the world's largest entertainment conglomerate labels you high risk, phones stop ringing. No papers have been served yet, but the threat alone is enough to make most actors fold. That may explain Rachel's social media silence. Every tweet is potential evidence. Meanwhile, her agency is fighting on 2 fronts. One source claims C-suite talent reps held an all-hands Zoom titled Reputation Containment. Zegler. The memo? No new offers until Q4, no press without vetting, no live interviews full stop. Casting scouts confirm she's already been passed over for at least 3 streaming thrillers and 1 prestige mini-series roles she once would have headlined. Brands have cooled too. A skincare sponsorship quietly pivoted to Jenna Ortega. A perfume line pulled teaser photos before launch. In the attention economy, dead air equals death spiral. But what about the supposed comeback plans? Crisis PR strategists floated an apology tour, morning show tiers, charity partnerships, a mental health narrative. Yet networks balked. Too much baggage for breakfast television, and Disney lawyers allegedly warned that any unscripted apology could jeopardize negotiations. So the tour died on the whiteboard. Another plan: disappear, re-emerge in an indie darling at Sundance. Problem: festival programmers fear toxic buzz overshadowing other films. Even art house distributors don't want press conferences hijacked by snow-woke hecklers. Internally, some allies whisper that Rachel herself is shattered. Friends describe marathon phone calls, late-night doubts. How did it all go so wrong? She reportedly blames inexperience, a too online persona, even ill-advised activist handlers. But sympathy is scarce. Industry veterans point out every A-lister survives 1 flop. Very few survive 2 global punchlines back-to-back. This isn't simple miscasting, it's a credibility collapse. Financially, the clock is ticking. If Disney pursues Tier 2 litigation, legal fees alone could wipe out her West Side Story earnings. Even a quiet settlement would likely bind her to years of silence. No tell-all memoir, no podcast catharsis, just contractual gag order. And without fresh roles, residual checks from a movie nobody streamed won't keep the lights on. The Hollywood cliché is you're only as good as your last hit. Rachel's last 2 headlines read, historic box office bomb, and West End walkout frenzy. Could she pivot to music? Possibly, but the Evita fiasco damaged her Broadway credibility. And record labels prefer controversy they can monetize, not fiascos they must explain. TikTok live sessions? Sponsors see the comment section before they sign. Voice act: Disney owns half the animation jobs. Good luck auditioning while they're suing you. Zoom out and her saga becomes a parable. Studios chasing clout hire untested Gen Z talent. Slap legacy IP on the poster and assume online engagement equals ticket sale. But hashtags don't purchase popcorn, and audiences don't pay premium prices to be lectured about how weird their childhood favorites are. Rachel Zegler didn't just misread the room. She declared the room outdated, then asked it to clap. When it booed, she vanished. That vanishing act is the moment careers drift from troubled to terminal. So verdict time. Evidence A: a Disney juggernaut detonated on her watch. Evidence B: a West End revival that hemorrhaged ticket buy. Evidence C: looming legal action, sponsor recoil, agency triage, and absolute digital silence. Add them up and the headline writes itself. This proves it: her career is over. Could a miracle resurrection happen? Hollywood loves a comeback, but even Robert Downey Jr. had a decade. rehab and a Marvel casting behind his redemption. Rachel's window is closing faster than Twitter's trending cycle. Until the mouse forgives or the box office forgets, she's effectively exiled. An object lesson whispered in studio boardrooms whenever someone suggests edgy viral marketing. And that brings us to you, viewer. If this 3-act meltdown taught us anything, it's that fandoms hold receipts and legacy IP still matters. Dismiss it and the internet will dismiss you permanently. So hit subscribe, slam that notification bell and drop a comment. Did Rachel dig her own grave, or did the industry hand her the shovel? Either way, the tombstone's ready, the ink is dry, and for now the credits have rolled on a career that was over almost before it began.